So welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I will be reviewing Happy Death Day. This movie is a classic. It's a really fun movie. Now before I do continue, make sure you smash the like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's go ahead again to the review for Happy Death Day. This movie, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's a really unique horror movie. Love this cover of the Blu-ray, by the way. But Happy Death Day, basically you have this girl, Tree, and she has to live throughout the same day. I think this movie has such a really cool and awesome premise. I think it's a really fun and interesting premise that you don't see a lot of movies do. And I'm pretty sure it was hard to film this movie because everyone had to be the same and look the same. So I'm pretty sure it was also pretty hard to film this movie as well. The killer baby face is already iconic. Like the killer in this is already iconic, and he's technically not the killer. Like, he's already the iconic killer. Like the mask and the whole look. I like the look of the killer vibe. It's good. Love this movie to death. You know, a lot of people don't know this. This movie was originally going to be rated R. This movie was going to be rated R, and it's PG-13. This is a good PG-13 movie, and this is probably one of my favorite PG-13 movies. Again, this is really only time a kind of slasher movie can be PG-13. I say kind of because this really isn't a slasher. You know, I think that's another thing that makes this movie fun. Is it's so debatable. Like, is it a slasher? Like, is it a slasher? A lot of people think this movie is a slasher. I don't think it's a slasher. I do think it's a horror movie, but I don't think it's a slasher because you know, it does have a good plot, a good premise. You know, that equals a slasher, right? A good killer, that equals, you know, a good slasher. Good twist, that equals a good slasher. But there's not really any kills in this. There's not really any gore in this. Like, they leave a lot of the blood out of this movie. I think they did that to get that PG-13 rating. But like I was saying, was they did a can't talk. They was going to do a R-rated version of this. They was going to do an R-rated version, but they decided not to do it. They decided to do a PG-13 one, just so people can, you know, buy more tickets and, you know, which is fine. I think this movie works as a PG-13. It's totally fine as a PG-13 movie. It works as a PG-13 movie. But I do think if this movie would have came out today or even next year, it most certainly, most definitely will be a R rating because of Halloween 2018 and how successful that was. Now the question is, would it be different as an R rating? No, I think the story, the premise, all that, all the characters would have been the same. If this movie was had a hard R, I think there would just been more kills, more gore. I think, you know, some like the deaths would have been more darker and almost more sadistic. But I think other than that, I just think it would have been probably a soft R. I think not even like a hard R, maybe more of a soft R. You know, in a lot of ways. So yeah, I really love Happy Death Day. Always love this movie. It's really one of my favorite horror movies. I don't really consider it a slasher, but you know, I always bring up Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and Bride of Chucky. They're like the big, well-known ones that kind of has this tone. I kind of, you know, look at this movie like a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 or Bride of Chucky. It's just fun. It's entertaining. You really don't have to take it seriously, you know. That's really what this is to me. And you know, again, even though I like this, you know, can't talk. Even though I love this movie and it has, you know, good, you know, even though I love this movie, I still would have liked to know what was the R-rated version going to be. Me personally, I think they should have did this version, the PG-13 version, put it out in the theaters, and gave us the R-rated version on home video. That's what they should have did. I feel like that is, you know, that's something, you know, that they should have did, in my opinion. You don't see, you know, a lot of movies. I just thought about that actually. You don't see a lot of movie studios doing unrated cuts anymore. You don't see a lot of studios doing that anymore. You know, that that's something, that went out like a long time ago. You don't see a lot of studios doing a unrated, a director's cut of horror movies anymore. I just find that kind of odd. I just thought about that. You know, maybe that would change. Because horror, it's back. But I just kind of thought about that. But yeah, Happy Death Day. Love this movie. I think the PG-13 works for this movie. It works. It doesn't have to have a R rating, but I'm very curious what could have been. Me personally, I think it would have been the same story, basically the same movie, but more blood, more gore, more kills. Some of the elements would have been darker. I think some of the deaths would have been even longer themselves. So yeah, Happy Death Day. Love this movie. I don't consider it a slasher. In my opinion, I consider it more of a dark, humored horror comedy, like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, like Bride of Chucky, but the only difference is in between those, Bride of Chucky is a slasher, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is a slasher. But I've always bring those two up because I think Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Bride of Chucky are good examples of dark, humored comedy. I always bring, off topic, I always bring up a debate for Bride of Chucky because a lot of people think Bride of Chucky is a comedy. It's not a comedy. It's not a comedy at all. But yeah, Happy Death Day. Really do love this movie. A really good killer. He's kind of the killer in this. A cupcake plays a role in it. Which I remember seeing this for the first time and being so shocked by that. You know why I bring up a cupcake? Later on. I think, no one talks about that. I think, the killer in this, which is technically not the killer, but like the babyface killer, like, that mask is so iconic now. Why not do a prequel? Could a prequel be successful out of this franchise? Have a prequel that goes more into a slasher territory and basically be, focusing on the babyface killer. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. But anyway, Happy Death Day. Love this movie. Happy to give this a rating. I say 10 out of 10. Always have fun. There's moments where you can laugh at this. There's so many memorable moments in this movie. And it's crazy that this movie's already considered a classic. And it really is a classic. I really enjoy this movie. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash the like button. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. See you guys in the next video.